Hey guys, Rylan Russell. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be taking you on a little walkthrough of a renovation that we've done to our children's welcome area. So recently we redid this space. Used to have a bunch of walls, these were just different classrooms, and we opened it up to create a new kids welcome area. And as we did this, we had three main considerations that I kind of want to break this video down into. Number one was just the design and the first impression that you get as a new family comes. Number two would be the technology involved in this area, specifically for checking kids in a fluid way. And then third would be the security aspect. How do we keep our kids safe on a Sunday morning? So let's dive into it. So when you first enter from the hallway, we've got our check-in area split into two different sections, a self-check-in with our iPad stations and the guest check-in over here. Now for the design of this space, we really wanted to tie in our branding colors for our church, which is mainly our teal and our navy, but for our kids, we're using our third color, which is kind of this peachish, reddish hue. And so we utilized, all of these different lanterns from IKEA and rugs and chairs, couches from I think Walmart.com, have some special art pieces that a guy here on our staff did, just trying to add lots of color and fun and geometric type shapes that will stand the test of time, not doing a bunch of murals and things like that that get dated very quickly. And the other thought is that these tie into our three different sections for our elementary aged kids. We have a blue zone, a red zone, and then a gray zone at the very end of the hallway. All of the different geometric shapes that you see that are painted on our walls are actually done with various layers of colors of paint that's been taped off to reveal the desired shape. We also added some LED tape that's kind of like the Philips Hue that will react to whatever content is on the screen, and it will display that around the edges, and I'll link to that in the description as well. It's much cheaper and it works really well. You can see there the little edges moving with the colors, and it's pretty cool, and it's got a nice app that goes with it too, much cheaper. The content for this TV is just being driven via SDI from our ProPresenter 7 computer in our worship center. So there's a chain of TVs that are all throughout our building that are getting the announcement layer most of the time, but then during service it's switched over to our computer feed from our A10. And that's all just sent, the audio as well, to this TV. That's how they're hearing audio for the service, is just embedded on that SDI. So as far as design goes, just kind of final thoughts. If you're looking to do something like this, I'm a big fan of trying to tie it into your church branding and thinking about how will this age, as far as down the line, do we really need to paint Noah's Ark in our middle of our kids area? I mean, it's kind of a weird, morbid story anyways. But thinking through how can you tie in your church vision into this area, your church branding, and make it kid-friendly still. So I think that we've done a good job of just having that. It's a very pleasant space to be in, and I think it's a good first impression. It was important for us to kind of have these two different areas for traffic flow, because we had those problems in the past where new people that come couldn't get checked in quickly. So having our guest check-in over here that has manned volunteers over here has been super helpful. And then our tried and true members, they just know how to come over, and the kids even do it on the iPads and check in. Our self-serve check-ins are built on these different iPad stands. These are from Bounce Pad, and they will hold a Brother printer on there that will wirelessly print. These are not the Bluetooth versions. These are the Wi-Fi versions. These printers are now working perfectly every week, but I had to go through a lot of trouble of setting them up on static IPs so that they would work over our unified network, which we've installed right above them, so that way they have strong Wi-Fi. If I was doing this again, I would recommend going with some stations that you can just hardwire Ethernet lines between the network to your iPads, or however you're going to do that, and then USB to the printer, so there's no more wireless to mess with. But I will say in the last month they've been working fine, but we did have some issues. But those are how our self-serve check-ins are working. When guests come, we've got volunteers that are here working at this station that just has this little low profile Scepter monitor. I'll link to all this in the description. We're using an old Dymo 450 turbo there for the label printing to just a little NUC or whatever it's called PC, and it is hardwired, so that's kind of our fail-safe. If the Wi-Fi is giving us issues, we can always print with this or have a backup system of just handwriting labels. Now, the last and most important probably consideration that we had was just security. When we built this section, our goal was to have all of our students, all of our kids actually from 5th grade and below, behind a secured area. So these glass doors behind me lock with, have only a security code that you can get through with, and those are locked during service and during Sunday school. We have a security team that is working together, and they communicate via walkie-talkie and headpieces, and they've been trained and know what to look for, because we can't be too careful, and security is a high priority, and we want parents to know that when they drop their kids off for the first time, that is a high value for us here at Central. Okay, so if you have any questions about the space, feel free to drop those in the comments. And you know, this was a big project. It's been a very successful and useful space. I'm so glad that we did this. So if you're considering it, hopefully this gives you a little bit of inspiration. All right, guys, remember, we can do a lot of great things. Let's do it all for God's glory. See ya.